Yeah, so we just did Richard III in the quarry here, and the thing that most springs to mind to talk about is that our reference point throughout was a film called The Act of Killing, a documentary made a couple of years ago, which probably a lot of people know about, extraordinary film about the militia genocides in Indonesia in the 70s, and we were just very interested in how violence connects to guilt and conscience. So it gave us just, first of all, just aesthetically, it gave us, we used a lot of, well, like in the film, one of the main executions was a garroting that was very much a reference back to that film, and it felt somehow like it gave us something more truthful to use, and got us away from sort of, it felt medieval without looking medieval. Also just felt like it was part of the research that we'd done and the real emotional connection we had to that film. So it was sort of about being truthful and trying to find a fresh way of staging a killing, and also it had a dramatic purpose. It was about Richard's guilt keeping these executions in his mind's eye and feeling the impacts of them at certain moments in the show. In some ways, like, talking about that film in relation to a play is, you know, I feel even now like there's such a important and complex historical, social atrocity, that to connect it and use it in any way on a stage, it feels, I don't know, tricky. But then at the same time, if we don't look at, in a meaningful, precise way, these moments, if they do connect with our work, then I suppose otherwise, if you're going to put violence on stage, it's hard to know where the truth of it comes from. And the real connection with, as I said, the real connection with that film was really, I remember asking Reese, who played Richard, to watch it, and he put it off and off and off for a long time, as you do when people recommend these kinds of films. And when he watched it, he had the most terrible set of nightmares. It was weirdly exactly what we were after, which was that the act of killing has a deeper impact on the inner life of people than perhaps people are prepared to admit in the moment of action. And the delay in Richard III of his conscience arriving is very, very much like the delay of Anwar's conscience arriving.